This is a disaster. This is a disaster, Dan.
Damn, I can't do this. Can we take several takes? Like if it starts going bad?
Because I just was a rambling fool.
Is it good to laugh?
I'm just confused about what's happening.
I gotta start over, Dan.
You just edit all my ums out. And,
I don't want to mess up your camera.
Oh.
I know she's so much better at this than I am, so I'm gonna sound like an idiot.
Maybe that was not the best answer.
Not good at this.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Alright, here we go. Here we go.
Evan and I met on St. Patrick's Day.
We were in the fabulous city of Rolla, Missouri, which
in 2011.
My buddy went to college there, and they had a large St. Patrick's Day festival.
My friend Kelly from Mizzou had asked me to attend.
There's a couple different stories of how this may go down.
And initially I said no, that sounded like a terrible time to go to Rolla, Missouri.
There may or may not have been a Olympics competition of some sort that included libations.
But she kept saying, oh, it'll be so fun and we'll get to spend a lot of time together.
We were in the front screened-in porch of my buddy's house.
So I went.
I found a bicycle and decided that I was going to take it for a little spin, not outside in the sidewalk, but inside the small enclosed screened-in sun porch.
So we pull up to the house.
And before I knew it, I had managed to find myself through a window.
Found mass chaos had broken loose.
That had crashed down on me.
There was someone walking around with blood all over his shirt.
A chaotic moment of me with shards of glass stuck in my back and bleeding everywhere.
So that guy was Evan.
So I walk out and she claims that I ran into her and knocked her down.
Allegedly.
A friend of mine pushed me into her, thinking that would be hilarious.
And I turned around and I said, do I look like a window to you?
Not how you would, I guess, picture perfect want to meet the girl of your dreams.
I wouldn't call it love at first sight, or even second or third.
I guess it fits us perfectly in the sense that it's a great story and it's unique to us.
But then later on we got to talk a little bit. And yeah, the rest is history.
Once we really got to know each other, I don't think it could have happened any other way. First date, so we decided we were going to meet down in Columbia.
Evan lived in Des Moines at the time.
So I arrived to pick her up.
My other friend, Valerie, had actually called just right after Evan did and said, hey, what are you doing tonight? And I said, well, I'm getting ready to go get something to eat.
I think we were walking out to the car and she was saying, oh yeah, so we're meeting my friend at the restaurant.
Our first date, I actually invited a friend.
She totally brought a friend to the first date we ever had.
You know, Evan just went with it.
It kind of broke any tension that we had, any awkward silences, so, which actually didn't really happen, but we had a great time anyway.
Our first kiss was actually on the Niangua River.
Okay, we went on a float trip. So we're going on this float trip, again with my friends and her mutual friend.
Our friends didn't actually know that we had been talking or been interested in each other.
Did our thing on the canoes, went down the river.
That was really the first time that we had hung out or demonstrated a romantic interest in each other.
We were there with all of our friends, and eventually they were getting hungry. They went up to start making food, and we kind of just hung around down at the river, and Jessica eventually made the first move, I guess you would say, and asked, true or false, do you want to kiss me right now?
With the love on the river.
Thinking it would have been a very unwise decision to say false.
In the canoe in the river.
Of course I said true, so that's where it happened.
And Evan and I actually stayed up all night. We never went to sleep. We talked the whole night.
Our friends were suspicious.
They all like to give us a hard time about that still.
We had to come up with a clever story as swimming laps up and down the river that would fool everyone.
So after that, we were pretty much inseparable.
Is this the one? Is this the one? You always ask that question, how do you know? From the moment I met Jessica and we got to know each other, I never asked that. I never had to ask that question.
I guess that there was never a defining moment for me, but yet that I always just knew. And then at some point, there's a deep realization of that I never wanted to be without him.
And just coming to realize that I've honestly never, ever had to sit down and think about it was my answer. That's how I figured it out. I was like, this is the one. I have no doubt in my mind.
All of the things that I'd ever been looking for, thought that I wanted, were blown out of the water by this relationship that we created, or even just being around him.
I love Jessica's personality. I love everything she stands for. I love her intelligence, her individualism. My
favorite things about Evan are his consideration of other people and how he's so thoughtful.
She has the drive to pursue her goals and has amazing friends and family that surround her.
You know, Evan's so good to me and he treats me so well, and of course that's important, but that he's that way to, you know, every person in his life that's close to him. And then every person that he meets, that he goes above and beyond to make them feel like they're important people.
I love her sense of humor, her quirkiness.
I love his sense of humor.
Our weirdness is just so endearing to each other. I always felt that to be the most true out of anything.
Just being able to create joy and happiness in any situation.
Just off the top of my head, I'd go on forever, honestly.
And that he will go to Pizza Ranch anytime. On the day that Evan proposed to me, it was hands down the best day and happiest day of my life.
So this was a long time coming, the proposal.
I always told him that I wanted the proposal to be something that happened really naturally and something that he was really comfortable with.
We're gonna take a ski trip all the way in March. This is back in October when I was thinking about this.
We went to Colorado with some of our friends.
Right around her birthday, and I started thinking, well, that's perfect timing as far as a surprise.
The day had started off, I'd gone with a group of girlfriends to Breckenridge and we had just been shopping around.
So she would never grow any suspicion in case I started getting really weird and twitchy.
And Evan had told me and them that he had a surprise.
Found out you could do a sleigh ride through the snow, up in the mountains. Just the two of you.
So they all kept asking, well, a big surprise is you think that he's going to be proposing, and I said no.
I went out there in December then and was able to meet the individual that ran that and had everything set up.
So he picked me up and we drove out to a state park outside of Breckenridge.
I was nervous the whole day. I was nervous really the whole trip.
And I thought that Evan was being a little weird on the drive out there. He wasn't really talking very much.
And I turned to her and asked her if she was nervous.
And I didn't know where we were going, but I wasn't nervous prior to him asking.
My conversation wasn't maybe the best it's always been.
When we walked in, the guy who was running the company said, "Oh, you must be Aaron," to Evan.
You ready for the big sleigh ride?
Well, actually, I'm Evan. And he said, "Oh, yeah. We've got something ready for you."
She didn't catch on, thankfully, but he was blowing my cover pretty hard.
Drives us out to a beautiful clearing at the base.
Said the horse needed a break, and this is a massive horse that could have pulled us for days, I'm sure.
And we walked out into the valley there.
And we had the creek running by. It was snowing lightly. Mountains were above the snow-capped trees.
That's when Evan got down on one knee
and proposed to her there. It was perfect.
So of course I said yes.
I don't remember what I said. I don't think anyone really does, because I was literally almost convulsing when it came down to it.
We drove back to Breckenridge and some of our friends were waiting for us at a restaurant.
To surprise her with a birthday dinner with all of them when we got back.
So it was great to be able to celebrate with them there too.
I just wanted to make sure that it was such a surprise for her, because I wanted it to be the best moment of her life.
I'll always remember that as one of the best days of my life.
And yeah, champagne bottles were popping and dancers started coming out, confetti was falling.
You keep saying things about this Evan guy. Didn't you say he was strange and sometimes could be weird? She responded immediately, well, hold on a second. You know you're weird too, right?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
So I said, touche.
Too good to be true. It was fun. If we walk in and we see a ring, we start cheering, bring out the champagne. If we don't, don't do that.
Kelly then later on told me that it was a plot.
So Jessica, I love you.